13 ABC First Warning Weather with meteorologist Ross Ellett.
And a good Sunday morning. A lot of active weather here taking place. Still fairly calm, though, for early on this morning. Let's take a look at live Doppler 13,000 HD. We do have a couple garden variety showers and thunderstorms. Nothing severe for this morning. From Bryan, Defiance, Napoleon, you're not in the rain quite yet, close to it. We'll see those showers and a couple of those thunderstorms continue to drift off towards the north and east, towards Liberty Center. And the lightning count here, 0. Expanding the view here, we've got a couple lightning strikes just back off towards the west. So nothing very active early on this morning, but things will increase in intensity once we get closer to about 3 o'clock for today. Here's a look at what's going on right now across the area. We have a lot of alerts to pass along to you. A wind advisory east of I-75, high wind watch from Lenawee and Monroe counties. And to the west of I-75, a high wind warning. The takeaway here, it's going to be very, very windy later today and overnight tonight. At times, winds gusting between 50 and 60 miles per hour. So here's the setup right now. We've got those showers continue to move away from us. Warm front passing off to the north right now. The unfortunate thing is we're seeing sunshine breaking out all the way from parts of Indiana through Illinois. And this is something we do not want to see. The more sunshine we get, the more instability and the bigger and the more powerful those storms can become later on today. Right now, we are sitting at 58 degrees, lots of clouds across our immediate area. South wind close to 10 miles per hour, but winds already gusting to about 25 miles per hour. And that is some of the ingredients here that are already beginning to wrap up with the storm system that we're watching for the potential of severe weather. Winds straight out of the south. Very, very strong for today. Brings in some near record highs, close to 70 degrees. Back behind this front, though, a winter-like air mass, and the collision of those two air masses coming together really at the wrong time here, creating that chance for severe weather. So the very latest from the Storm Prediction Center, a moderate risk of severe thunderstorms is out for most of Ohio. That includes areas along and to the east of I-75. To the west of I-75, this area has now been upgraded to a high risk. That includes all of western Ohio, southern Michigan, Indiana, and Illinois. That's the greatest potential for tornadoes later today. Regardless, all of us have under that risk, at least a chance for a few of those tornadoes across the area that we'll be watching carefully, and damaging winds. So here's the very latest with that line of storms as it develops. Between 2 and 3 o'clock for later on today, right on the northwest corner of our area, close to the tri-state, those storms continue to get organized. By 4 o'clock, that band of showers and thunderstorms moves throughout Hillsdale, Adrian, Wauseon. By the time we get to 5 p.m., Toledo, BG, Findlay, and Monroe, right on the leading edge of that line. 6 p.m., Port Clinton, Fremont, and Tiffin, you're right in the line of this. And by 7 o'clock, it'll finally move out of the area. So 3 to 7 o'clock, that's our window that we're watching later on for us today. Back behind the front, the rain shuts off pretty quickly, but the winds keep going. In fact, later on today, those winds will be gusting here at times around 40 to 45 miles per hour for the afternoon. As those storms get involved, could even be stronger than that. But it's after the storms leave, after the cold front goes through, those back wind speeds will change direction out of the west, and at times will be gusting between 50 and 60 miles per hour for us. So a lot of wind as we head throughout the later part for us for today. Your high this afternoon, looking at a high around 70 degrees. Storms after 3 p.m. again. Winds gusting up to 50 miles per hour. Tonight, a big drop with the temperature. Will drop off to about 40. Some winds could actually be up to 60 miles per hour. That'll be between about 8 p.m. and 2 a.m. in the morning. And then for tomorrow, 47 degrees for that high. Much cooler, but still a little breezy at times. Winds up to about 35 miles per hour with that top wind gust. Extended forecast, a lot of things going on here for the next 24 hours, and then it really calms down for us. A few showers on Thursday and a few snowflakes mixing in Friday into Saturday. So quite a bit going on in that a 7-day forecast. But again, today the focus is for the afternoon and evening hours. Of course, we're going to be here tracking those storms.
Ross.
Yeah, just on the east side, Jane, if we can go ahead and zoom back in here, there is a little notch on the back side of this. Our shear marker just back off towards the west, but right over the Northwood community. If you're listening to us right now, Northwood, you need to seek shelter. This storm continues to move off towards the east and northeast very, very fast. So here's State Road 51, also the I-280 expressway here continues to head right through that, but that's that area, that notch that we're picking up on. Curtis Road, State Highway 2, right over Oregon. Again, this is heading towards Curtis and eventually right towards the lakeshore. If we can zoom out just a bit here, this is live data though as it's coming in. We're picking up on that notch We're getting a very, very close view of this, just a couple hundred feet above the ground as it's heading right towards or very close to our Doppler site on the east side of the metro area at this point. So again, that little notch, Jay, very concerning at this point. Also a new severe thunderstorm warning for areas just off towards our east, I believe. Yes. Out until about 6:30. We'll have to get a confirmation on that with some of those stronger storms.
6:30, yes.
6:30.
Ottawa, Sandusky, Ross.
Okay, so the Oak Harbor, Fremont, still looking at a lot of strong winds, and we'll continue to watch that notch of rotation. That part, though, should eventually end up over the lake, but some of those strong winds will continue to head that direction.
Meteorologist Ross Ellett has this report from Oregon.
In just a matter of seconds, whistling winds changed lives forever as roofs were peeled off and debris was scattered all over.
I love thunderstorms. I mean, in fact, after my son's basketball game yesterday, I'm like, let's just go home. I want to enjoy the storms coming in, but I wasn't expecting this.
The sky grew dark and the tornado sirens sounded.
But on the news it says tornado warning, said it's Oregon. I said, wow, Harbor View, we're a little ways from there. And my ears popped.
And my son was crying. He was terrified. So I was trying to stay calm for him. But the whole time I was thinking, when we walk back upstairs, are we going to be standing outside? That's what my thought was. I didn't know if we were going to have a roof or what anything was going to look like.
The air filled with a high-pitched whistle, crackling and twisting sound before everything came to a sudden stop. But daylight this morning showed the extent of the destruction. There's also a lot of good news, though, scattered in debris. This large roof was actually blocked by big blue spruce, and that saved this home from being destroyed.
I'm shocked that our house is still there. I'm just totally amazed.
And thankfully, everyone survived the storm.
Luckily, we did go to the basement, and everybody's fine.
Now the hard cleanup begins as debris is scattered throughout thousands of feet of Pearson Metro Park, right as the temperatures begin to plummet. Ross Ellett, 13 ABC Action News. Weather technology continues to advance the science, but one technique is still the backbone in weather forecasting. Southeast Michigan and Northwest Ohio gets it all. Forecasting the area's extreme weather starts off with a balloon.
Well, weather balloon is an important part of the forecast process. We use the weather balloon data to forecast short-term in the next 6 to 12 hours.
Every morning and evening, the National Weather Service walks up the hill to fill a new weather balloon.
Twine attaches to the radiosonde.
But a small radiosonde tied to the balloon collects all the important data. This small box will measure temperature, dew point, and wind measurements from the ground all the way up to about 100,000 feet in the sky.
Go.
As soon as a balloon goes up, the data comes back down to be analyzed.
It went due south for the first couple of minutes.
And the forecasting begins.
What are chances of severe weather? Is a severe thunderstorm possible? Is a tornadic storm possible? Then all this weather balloon data goes into supercomputers all across the world.
Then all that weather data then goes through thousands of physics and chemistry equations, a lot like this. After all those calculations are done, the answers come out in the form of weather maps, which help meteorologists forecast the future weather. But helping forecasters isn't where the balloon's journey stops. It still has a wild ride down.
Once it pops, it falls back down to the ground. There's a little parachute system to make it glide back down to the ground.
But the balloon can literally fall anywhere the wind takes it.
We've had people find them in trees and call the police because they're concerned what exactly was in their tree.
And that tree might be holding the key to tomorrow's accurate forecast. And it's estimated that more than 20 million weather balloons have been launched worldwide since the late 1800s, when they became an important part of the forecasting process. Reporting live, Ross Ellett, 13 ABC Action News.
Take it away, Ross.
Well, Bill, Mother Nature, Old Man Winters just does not want to give up this year, that is for sure. A spring snowstorm hitting this area pretty hard. This is what's left on the ground right now, 5 inches of, call it slush, really, really heavy, wet snow. But the roadway's not too bad. We're right here near Oak Harbor Road, and things actually running pretty smoothly. As driving through this area, things are better now than what they were earlier, even though there's more snow on the ground compared to several hours earlier in the morning. So that's the good news at this point, as that continues to fall. It's been pretty of a wild overnight. Some thunder snow being reported down near Lima. That was overnight, so imagine a spring thunderstorm, only heavy snow falling. That's what they dealt with as they went throughout the overnight hours. Again, things beginning to wind down. All this snow, as you just mentioned, Bill, right off of Lake Erie, lake effect snowfall, really adding to the pile that we have right here. But the good news is now 33 degrees, so temperatures warming up, and that melting process will begin soon enough. In Fremont, Ross Ellett, 13 ABC Action News. Well, Bill, you're right. Yeah, it's all about the wind, and we just don't have it for this morning. Some good news, a few snow flurries flying right now, and it is cold. That 1 degree matches the coldest that we've been in the last 2 years, some real Arctic air. We wanted to show you a demonstration of what that Arctic air looks like when you throw some boiling hot water up in the air. Now, keep in mind, boiling water is already very close to evaporation, and then when you add in some very dry weather that we have across the area right now, then you can get that sometimes to turn into a snow cloud. So we've got a thermos here. We poured some boiling water in here. It was about 10 minutes ago, so not all of it will work, but hopefully some of it will here for us. You can see that cloud as it kind of goes up into the air. An instant snow cloud, lots of ice crystals there for you as it fades away into the air. Again, not only are we at the coldest point, or matching the coldest point that we've been the last 2 years, but we're at the driest point that we've been as well. And that's also a good indication of that, is that water just goes up and evaporates really, really fast for this morning. But Bill, you certainly got it right, though. The wind chill, not as big of a factor as what it was yesterday. We're moving in the right direction.
But a second larger asteroid nearly hit Earth just a couple hours ago, Ross?
Yeah, that's right. Astronomers are calling it a cosmic coincidence, but two different space rocks coming from two different directions threatened planet Earth earlier today.
So this thing was traveling at supersonic speeds, just like a fighter jet does.
Imagine you're driving on your morning commute as a blinding light flashes across the sky, and then a thunderous sonic boom blows out windows, spraying glass over a city. That is exactly what a meteor did earlier today, exploding 20 miles above southeastern Russia. Hours later, a much larger asteroid dodged satellites and the moon to come 17,200 miles from smacking the Earth.
This asteroid that literally just passed us a little while ago is coming from the south and going to the north. And so they're on two very different orbits, and it's just a cosmic coincidence that they happen to come near us on the same day. One of us touched us and the other one just kind of skimmed by us.
That is the closest encounter Earth has had since the sky surveys were started in the 1990s.
That's 50 meters, or about 150 feet in diameter, which is about half the size of a football field. So that one's actually a pretty good sized rock.
And that's about the same size asteroid that created the deep crater in Arizona.
If it were to actually hit the Earth, that would actually cause real damage. It wouldn't change the weather. It's not going to be something that's going to change the climate or wipe out humanity. You have to get much bigger than this in order for that to happen. But if you wouldn't want to be living in the town that it hit.
This asteroid has spared planet Earth for now.
They've hit us in the past. One of them touched us today, came close, and they will hit us in the future. It's just a question of when.
Now, astronomers are quick to point out that while large meteorites do hit the Earth, and they are a real threat, only a few normally hit every 10,000 years. Reporting live, Ross Ellett, 13 ABC Action News.